you was labeled as a racist, okay? And the thing is, and I just want to put it out there. I think if you were a racist, that was a moment, that was an opportunity that a racist would have taken advantage of, and say, "Man, I'm gonna get this ninja fired. He gonna work for me." You know what I mean? That's what I think a racist would have done, and then as well as me, I've been black for now 54 years, and I've been in a lot of racial situations. And I kind of like know the lay of the land. You could tell a racist by the people that he hang out with, his friends. That's how you tell a racist. Or you could tell a racist by the way a racist kids act. That's how you could tell a racist.
Yeah.
You know immediately. Um, how did you feel after your situation? Um, say making a racist comment and then being labeled a racist. How did you feel about that?
Um,
Because people make and I say that because people make comments all the time. Doesn't make them, it doesn't make them that.
You're saying words are one thing, actions are another.
Exactly.
well, I mean, and that's what a lot of people don't understand is people can say a word or make a mistake, and that doesn't mean that's who they are. The
Yeah.
people that keep bringing it up and keep pushing it forward, those are the people I worry about. But for me, it was really a delayed reaction. I mean, that's kind of like why I asked you. Um, I had used the word, and it was now it's going on almost 13 years ago. What's the date now? 19, almost 20?
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even know what year it is anymore. So it was said in 2006, and I was made aware of it probably, let's see, when did the darn Gawker trial start? I was made aware of it probably, I don't know time very well, so I'm probably saying about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think longer than that.
Yeah.
6 years, maybe 5 years. So it was said in 2006, and then I was made aware of it about 5 years ago. And to tell you the truth, I don't remember that conversation, but that definitely was me, and I definitely said it. And I mean, total idiot, totally out of control, bad situation. There's a million excuses for it, but it was me. I said it, and I tried to be accountable for it. But the thing is, the people that know me, and it's really cool that you would say just because somebody says a word doesn't define them or doesn't mean who they are. Because the people that know me, the first person that called me when the publicity came out was my minister, Michael Beckwith. And he runs the Agape Church there in Culver City. He came to my house and married me and Jennifer, and he's one of my good friends, and he's Afro American. So first thing that happened was my minister called me. He goes, "Terry, have I heard we've got some problems?" I explained to Michael what happened, and he goes, "First off, God forgives you," and he says, "Whenever you have a small problem, tell your big God about your small problems." I said, "Michael, I've already talked to him about it." And he goes, "Don't worry what people think about you. Worry what God thinks about you." And he gave me some really good uplifting advice. And, after that, there was a ton of support from all my friends. And the hardest part was trying to explain to people that didn't know me. And some people only knew me because of that. Oh, my God, we never heard of Hulk Hogan until we heard him say this crazy word and it was on the news. That was the hardest part, was trying to explain to people who didn't know me, who I really was. And it was so hard to and there's a lot of people now that, I've apologized to on several different levels and several times. And there's still some people that, the jury's still out. Some people are still tentative. And, I'm trying to, show them, like you guys were talking about, by my actions, who I really am. So it's been a really tough time, but a lot of people are very forgiving, and a lot of people that, are understanding. They've made some serious mistakes in their life too, and I think normal people that have good hearts kind of understand that if someone does make a mistake, you need to give them a second chance and see who they really are. So it's been a tough time, brother. I won't joke about it at all, but I'm just grateful now that my friends never left me, and the fans never left me, and the people that a few of the people, or a lot of the people that don't know who I really am, I've had an opportunity to speak to many of them as I can and try to not make an excuse, but be accountable and say, yeah, it was me, I did it, but that's not who I am, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, somebody had asked me, man, what would you do? How do you feel about it? I said, man, if people judge me for what I did, more than 20 years ago, aggravated robbery, if people still judge me, on that, they wouldn't know who I am at all, man. I mean, because that one day did not define who I am. It definitely did not. And I say that as far as as far as your friends and whatnot. I'm good friends with Knobs, Nasty Boy Knobs. Knobs used to talk about you all the time back in the day, man. I'm hanging out with Hogan, man. I'm on the boat this week, where, all kind of stories, man. I've heard all kind of great stories, and none of them were racist stories or anything like that. As well as Knobs and I, Knobs. I could say this, man. I can honestly say this. Knobs for years, Brian Knobs. He's the only white guy that I've ever given a pass to call me the N-word. I swear. No, I'm serious.
It's almost like every time I was around him, he was calling. I mean, good God.
What's crazy though, what's crazy is I was in Tokyo, Japan, Knobs and I, and we was in this bar. It was called the Rolling Stone. And Knobs and I, man, we stayed out till like 4 o'clock in the morning, man. We was just hammering them back, man. We had so much fun. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if I needed anybody to have my back, it would have been Knobs.
Oh, yeah.
that was the guy. Yeah. That was the guy who would have had my back. No matter what went down, we went down together. I know that. I was just with him just this past weekend. So in saying that, Knobs, just this past weekend, Knobs going, hey, man, I love you, brother. I can't say that word anymore, though, but I love you, man. So even it's so political now, and everything is so, everybody's so uptight about everything. Everything is analyzed. Everybody got a comment. Like you say, a lot of people that, judge you never saw you, never knew you, never watched you. They was their first introduction, and people these days, they seem to hold on to everything. It's a different world that we live in today. And I think with social media being the way it is, I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, we need to. I agree with what you're saying, Book. I think that a lot of times it's you can't forgive and forget. It seems like anymore.
Yeah.
Like move past it. But I've always deferred to you on. I remember when this whole incident happened. We were on the phone together right when this happened to you, Hulk. I mean, Booker and I were on the phone talking about it.
Yeah.
And Booker said this to me, and I'm saying it right now. I mean, he said, "Look, if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, I wouldn't have had a wrestling career." Hulk Hogan looked at me and my brother and said, "That's y'all's hottest tag team. Push them to the top of the mountain," right? And I don't think that, and that's what goes back to the words versus actions. Now, just because we live in a more uptight community and culture now, that doesn't mean that it's okay to say those words.
No.
I know people are more sensitive than normally. It's not okay to say, but we learn from them. We move on. You pat each other on the back. You say, "Love your brother." Won't happen again. I mean, I think that's just how you're supposed to be in life.
Well, my thing is,
yeah, I mean,
go ahead,
the good part.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
The good part is the respect. I mean, if we're disrespecting anybody, we all need to be re-educated. And I totally agree now that everybody is, been kind of like more thoughtful and more caring. That the word doesn't work. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But being real about it, I still hear it all the time. I don't say it. I learned my lesson. I know it's unacceptable, and I don't want to hurt anybody. And so I had a hard lesson, but I've learned my lesson. But it's just like New Year's Eve. I was in Miami at New Year's Eve, and a buddy of mine's club. He owns the Live Club there in Fontainebleau, and one of the top Afro-American actors, one of the highest paid actors. He's not a wrestler. One of the highest paid Afro-American actors in the business came up to me, and he goes, "Oh, my gosh, my so-and-so. He's dropping the word. "Oh, my gosh, I grew up, I was 5 years old, and I've been in love with you. You're my favorite wrestler, bang, bang, bang." And I looked at him, and my wife and I looked at each other. We couldn't believe that it was. It was so crazy. But I forget some of these actors that are making 15, 20 million bucks a movie that are 45 years old, they grew up 5 years old being Hulkamaniacs. I forget that,
Yeah.
And so when he said, it caught me so off guard. I said, whoa, brother, I love you too, man, but we can't say that.
Nah, you know what?
It was crazy, but in the real world, it's still thrown around.
It is. I was watching a thing on HBO just last week, and they had a bunch of NBA players. They were around doing like a table,
like the shop.
Exactly,
the shop with
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, they were just dropping it. And these are guys that play in the NBA. And you are exactly right. That's something that we've talked about on the show all the time. As far as it's said on the radio, throughout the day, you can't hear it enough on the radio without. Sometimes they don't even bleep it out. They just let it play through. We had an officer here from Galveston on the show, and he was talking about in school. The black kids said, the Asian kids said, the white kids said. It's just a word, and the word is destructive, and that's the end game. Because when you go in for an interview, you're trying to get a job. You got to know how to change the levels, and just like myself, having that interview and it slipped out. It could happen. If it could happen to me, it could happen to you.
The thing was your energy. You were excited. You were doing an interview, and you had a cadence, you had timing, and it just came out.
It was in the hood.
It kind of fit for that second, but a second later it didn't fit. And I had some crazy energy, but I was mad and I was pissed off, and there's a million excuses, and it came out. But for me, understanding how powerful that is and how many people it hurts, I'll never say it again, because I don't want to hurt people. I'll come up with another word. I don't need that word if I have love for somebody and I see my best friend or my brother of the road. I might call him my soulmate or my traveling partner. I'll come up with something, but I don't need to use that word if it's going to hurt people, and I don't. So I learned that lesson, and it caught me by surprise, like I said, because it was said in 2006, and then all of a sudden I heard the recording. Many years later. So, whoa, where'd this come from? But it was me, and I went, holy shit! I can't believe I was talking like that. It was crazy.
Whoa, okay. I tell you, man. One of those things, man. It's one of those things. When you're in the heat of passion, we know about the heat of passion. People murder in the heat of passion. So words do come out in the heat of passion. So my thing is this.
Well, at the end of the day, there's nothing good that comes out of it.
No.
No.
At the end of the day, something did come out good come out of it, I think. No, because it is something that people need to talk about. It is something people need to be educated on, and our young generation these days, a lot of times they just think we're just old guys and we're just talking, out the side of our neck, and we really don't know what we're talking about. But people died because of that word. We fought wars, because of that word. And for us bringing it to the forefront and being able to talk about it, you and I, it means something. And I've had people, say certain things about me on social media, but just because I called you a friend, people don't want to let things go. But people are going to be people. It's nothing I can do to change them. But those young kids out there that we can educate, that's listening to us right now, talking about that word that perhaps will change them and motivate them to, like my nephew. He lives out in California. He hangs out with all of his buddies, and all of them, they come up at each other and they say, "Hey, what's up, my ninja? Hey, what's up, my ninja?" They've changed the word. The narrative is still the same. This is my love. This is my homeboy right here. But just like you said, I could change the word and I could use a different word. They can too. And hey, Hulk, hey man, I just want to thank you. And for coming inside the Hall of Fame, and more importantly than that, man, I'm honored to be able to call you a friend.
Well, I tell you what, I've always considered you a friend, my brother, and seeing Stevie the other night, he was like, I said, "Damn, you look good, man. What's going on?" He goes, "Well, what kind of car are you driving?" I said, "Oh, you guys said you haven't changed a bit. All you want to do is talk about damn cars and motorcycles." So it was so great to see your brother the other night, man, and it's just really cool, man. It's just I got friends, and I'm honored to have you as a friend, and I just realized how many people stuck with me through thick and thin, and brother, that's strong, brother. That's to have friends that'll do that for you. That's amazing,
Hey man, I got your back, bro. Hey man, like I say again, man, I know you got to get out of here, but again, I just want to thank you for stepping inside the Hall of Fame and clearing all the air, man. Clearing all the air. I love you, brother. Appreciate
Love
you.
you too, my friend.
All right.
Thanks,
Holla at
Hulk.
you.
We'll talk soon. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.